All right, guys, we are live. It's episode 216 of the Shooter's Mindset. Thank you guys for tuning in tonight. Co-host joining me, Jennifer Seymour. What's going on, Jen?
Hey, everybody.
Guest star of the hour, Kurt Grimes, is joining us. What's up, Kurt?
Peace out. How you guys doing?
Doing all right. We got a lot of stuff to actually. Steve Foster here chimed in last minute here. He wanted to throw some funny PG-13 questions at you.
I imagine
so we'll get to those. Yeah. Those later out throughout the show. Show sponsors here, the folks over at Tactical Shit, shop.tacticalshit.com for all your tactical shit needs. Parts for guns, clothing, I don't know, steel targets. They got it all over there at Tactical Shit. We have a discount code coming from them later in the show. Folks over at Tandemkross, kind folks over at Tandemkross, big fans of them and their product. Check out Tandemkross website for all your rimfire needs. We'll probably hit on some of those later on throughout the show today. Questions and answers. If you want to get your questions in live here to Kurt or any of us here on the show. If you're watching on the YouTube side of things, top right-hand corner, it's a good way to do that. If you're on the YouTube side of things, we'll pull those questions live throughout the show. Also on the Facebook, the Shooter's Mindset Facebook, we just got a new post up there, most recent post. If you prefer to use Facebook, plug them in the comment section. We'll grab those. Or if you prefer to speak to Jen, she's usually over there on that side of the game. What else we have here? I think that's good. The Shooter's Mindset website, obviously. If you're watching on the shootersmindset.com, we appreciate you over on the website watching this live show of the Shooter's Mindset. Blogs are over there. The shop's over there. And so I got some training stuff and some, I don't know if you care to know about me and Jen. There's like some bio stuff over there also. All right, let's kick this one off here. Kurt, for those who are unfamiliar with you, can you tell us a little bit more about yourself? Kind of what got you involved in competitive shooting and gunsmithing?
So I started building guns out of necessity. I can't leave anything alone ever. I have to tinker with everything I do. So over the years, I started shooting USPSA and Steel Challenge back in the 90s, and I bought at least one open gun from every builder there was because everybody said theirs was the best and it was better and all that stuff. And I found things that I liked and found things that I didn't like. And I'm a kind of a detail freak. Little things make a big difference to me. So I started poking holes in all my guns and different colors and, you know, just different things to see, you know, experiment and see if it works better or if it just makes me feel better because I think it looks cool, you know. So, and I mean, I've got stuff that looks like Swiss cheese. So
nice.
You can see through it. That gun right there weighs 24 ounces. With a Seymour on it, and it's ready to rock right there at 24. So it's lighter than any buck mark I've handled, and it shoots great. I love it. So, you know, the whole gunsmithing thing. There again, I kind of felt it came out of necessity. I really got heavy into the 2211s about mid to early 2000s. And I had a lot of problems. So I ended up, I took a break from shooting because I opened my own business and my son went away to college. We started him shooting when he was 10. And when I came back, you know, the same problems were still there with the 2211s. So I did a little investigating and found out what other people were shooting and doing. And I picked up some parts and went to town. And I struggled with it at first. I mean, I had the same issues everybody else was having with trying to make sure that, you know, the things run 100%. So I've got mine down to where, you know, if you got a good quality ammo, you shouldn't have any problems with them. I've got guns that will go 7, 8, 9, 10 matches without a failure. So, you know, it's just,
I mean, so you could say, are you just a trial and error guy that just worked on guns and kind of learned the hard way, learned how to kind of master it, and that's how you learned?
Some of it, yeah. And I'm not, the biggest thing with me is I'm not afraid to screw something up, for lack of a better term. If I make a mistake and ruin something, then, you know, you learn from it. But I'm pretty good at figuring out stuff. I look at it and I see what it's supposed to do and why it's not doing it. So, you know, it's one of those things that you learn as you go, and the more you do, the more experience you have, the better you get at it. So, and like I said, I'm not an expert on this stuff by any stretch of the imagination. There's guys that know far more than I do. But you gave me a Taxol 2211 on an STI frame, and I'll make it run for sure. So, and I love them. I love them.
So let's talk about these like kind of STI 2011 kind of builds. I mean, I didn't know much. I think there was a question. Someone posted something on one of those style race guns, and I think that obviously working in the gun shop, there was a Colt like 22 1911 sitting in the used glass.
Right.
And I just threw that out there, and I think Walter Arms makes that, and then they just kind of write Colt on the side of that thing. But I was like, well, that's kind of a good price. I'll buy one. Let's do a 22 conversion. Let's race it all out. But it's not. It's on a true 1911 frame, so it's not on a 22 frame. It's not on any of that. So I mean, how do you get? I mean, I'm kind of curious on this whole thing. Do you just kind of like, is it just a bare frame and it's from the ground up, or is it just you're running your standard 1911, 2011 trigger in it?
So you can run either a 1911 frame or a 2011 frame. The only difference between the two is the magazines. So if you run the 2011, obviously you have to run their grip, you have to run their trigger, all that stuff. But the top ends are the same. I can take one off a 2011 and put it on a 1911. You might have to do a little bit of fitting, a little bit of tuning to make it run proper, but it's the same top end no matter what you do. You know, you go and you get a wide body magazine or single stack mag. So I choose the wide bodies because I shoot open and limited in USPSA and Steel Challenge. So I wanted the same grip, the same feel, same trigger pull, same sight picture, same weight. I've got, when I build these 2211s, I can weight them from, obviously the 24-ounce one is mine. And I did that as just to see how light I could get one. But I have them all the way up to 42 ounces. So if you want to do the, you know, you've got a Steelmaster and it weighs 40 ounces and you want a rimfire pistol that feels the same, looks the same, and weighs the exact same, we can do it. So different compensators, different mag wells, there's things you can do to add weight, take weight away. So, but yeah, they're a kick in the butt to shoot. I love them.
Yeah, I mean, what really goes into tuning? Well, let's say I just call you up tomorrow. I want something like that done. Is there a, you know, like a long process? Are you like 6 weeks behind on something like that? Does it take a lot of playing around with, or does it? What are the advantages and disadvantages? I see an advantage, obviously, being like you said, if you're shooting, you know, a centerfire gun, you want it to be exactly like your 2011, get the same weight, same trigger pull. That makes sense. But is there any disadvantages to the platform? No,
not in my opinion. I've shot every platform there is. I own everything from pack lights to buck marks to, I don't have a Victory, but I have a Scorpion. I have everything there is, and I've tried it all. And these got to be better. You know, this has got to be better. And I always come back to the 2211. So, and it really depends if you're a 1911 guy, or I know a lot of my friends shoot 1911s, so they shoot the single stack version. I just happen to like the fat gun. So
there you go. What's the general cost of someone looking to get into that kind of deal if they want to go hard?
If you're going to start out with nothing, you're going to have between $2,500 and $3,000 in one when you're all said and done. But that is with a Seymour and 6 magazines. The magazines are a little spendy because they're a big chunk of billet aluminum, but they're cool. They never break. They never wear out. So it's an investment. But if you look at it like that, if you go out and buy, you know, one of the other guns, you know, their manufacturers, and start adding stuff to it, you know, you're not going to get that far into it, but you're up there.
Yeah,
I've watched a lot of guys do that.
Oh yeah, you get it up there quick. You get $300, $400, $500, you know, factory 22. You start swapping barrels on it, grips, internal parts, sights. You put all that. It's like, man, I got almost 1,300 into this thing now. You know, it's like what?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It adds up quick.
Yes.
Indeed.
No doubt.
Yeah, interesting. What and you, like, if I wanted to contact you, I didn't really find a website for you. I mean, I didn't really look hard, just did a general search with your name on it. But is there a website, or is there a way to contact you if we want to get this done with you?
It's usually through Facebook. I have a business website for my paint shop. I don't update unupdated for a long time. But you can reach me through Facebook, or, I mean, anybody that knows me. I mean, I'm not a weirdo about giving out my phone number or anything. I mean, and I field questions almost every day on this stuff. So, but usually Facebook or SenCal Cerakote. I have a Cerakoting business, which I started because I want to put color on guns.
Right.
It's funny how many businesses in the gun industry have started because somebody was like, I can do this better. I want to keep shooting and I can do it myself cheaper.
Right. Well, mine wasn't a deal that I thought I could do things better, but it's like my base pads for the Ruger rifles, for the 1022 magazines. I tried the ones that were out there. I saw Doug Koenig on Sportsman's, when it was Chevy Truck Challenge way back in the day, had this big thing hanging off the bottom of his magazine. It was weighted, and it made it easier to get in and out. And it always stuck in my head. So I don't know, 3-4 years ago, I machined one, and I thought, oh, that's kind of cool. And I go, man, that takes a lot of time. And I'm not a machinist. I play around with it, but I'm not a machinist. So I went to Tandemkross and bought theirs. All right, cool. I don't have to make them. I'll just buy them. And I love those guys, by the way. Everybody there's super cool. I get along great with them. See them, love them. We're giving away a new Ruger Hive grip right now on rimfire race guns. So if somebody wants to go in and sign up for the giveaway, then they get a shot at it. But so they weren't tall enough for me. So then Tactical Solutions made some that were called Slam, and there were alignment issues with a part that I just didn't like the shape of them. So I came back to mine and I got a couple more of mine done, and I kind of leaked a picture of one of my guns with one in there, and people started asking about them, and I thought, okay. So I had 5 of them. I gave them to a buddy of mine and said, here, try these. Tell me what you think. Are they, is it something that people are going to like? And he wouldn't give them back. So we wrote a program. We actually do them on a CNC machine now. But, any match you go to, you'll see 20, 30 people with them. So, but it started out for me, just me wanting to do something that I liked for my gun, something cool for my gun. So it kind of turned into, it's like the scope mounts on the 2211s and the charge handles, the slide racker. I build that because once you get a Seymour on there, you can't rack it. So, but those are all stuff that I do for my builds. Haven't really got into selling to other people because the slide rackers all need to be fit a little bit, and really want to send one out and have somebody screw it up and then get mad at me because they couldn't make it fit. So I'd rather do it on my stuff, or they can send it to me and I'll do it. So, but
there you go. What else do we have here on this? I mean, in your opinion, obviously you said you tried pretty much them all. What really, and I remember shooting some of the steel matches a couple of years ago, some of the steel challenge stuff. I never seen so many 22s kind of go down in like a major match. Like magazine issues seem to be what my guess was. That's what it looked from me just standing there looking at that person. But what truly makes a rimfire pistol or rifle reliable? Do you think it's the magazines or the ammo, or is it a combination of both?
Well, magazines, so pistol mags are more problematic than the rifle mags for sure. I can't tell you the last time I had a failure with the rifle. The problem with the pistol mags is they're sheet metal. Things get bumps, things get banged, they get in the bag. They throw the range bag in there, and then they set a rifle case on top of it, and something happens. So things get out of spec. That's the biggest issue with the mags. So people need to know how to tune them. There's videos online that people will show you how to go through the process. TK's got one. But then quality ammo. So many times I went to Alabama, shot the state steel championships, ran through with my green gun here, this one right here. I don't know if you can see that, but ran through the whole match without no problems. Next day, got up to the line, and one of my guys that I know, first string, nothing. Bang, bang, click. Okay. Second string, same thing. Bang, bang, click. And he goes, okay, just do a DNF for the match. And I said, no, here, I'll give you my gun, I'll give you my ammo, give you my mags, go shoot. He didn't have a problem the rest of the day. So I see a lot of people show up at a match with ammo that they know they're going to have a problem with, or they've had problems with it at practice. I'm not going to name brands, but anybody that's in this for any length of time knows what the problems are and what ammo creates problems. So, get a good quality ammo for the match. If you want to practice with stuff that has problems, that's good because it teaches you how to clear a problem, fix drop a mag, do whatever you need to do to get the gun back going again. But at a match, you need to step up your game and spend some money and get decent ammo. So,
yeah, I don't ever get that. Like, I always had my match ammo, even for centerfire stuff. I haven't done a lot of rimfire stuff as far as major match goes. But I always had my match ammunition on new brass. That wasn't that I knew that I didn't. When you reload ammo and you're picking up brass up, who knows how many times that brass was reloaded.
Exactly.
So I always had my local match stuff or my indoor range or practice stuff, and then I had my match ammo that I'd usually run the day before just to make sure that everything was, and that was it. There's so much money spent involved in these matches, whether you're flying, whether you're driving, it doesn't really matter. The money's still there regardless.
Exactly. I've tried to get that across to a lot of people that, you don't want to pay $10 a box or $20 a box for ammo, but you just spent $1,500 to get there. And guess what? If your ammo doesn't run, you just wasted all that money. So I think
might as well have not gone.
Exactly.
Yeah, and no one wants to suck because their gear failed. We want to see the results the way they are. If I sucked it up and my gear ran flawless, then that's a fair kind of where I'm at. Now, who knows where I would have been if I would have just, ran it perfect without any mags or any ammo issues throughout the match.
Right. Absolutely. Well, I've seen that time and time again where people show up and I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it doesn't really make sense because you're going through the effort, you're making the time, you're spending the money to get there, and you want to be able to perform. And if your equipment goes down, something breaks, that happens, but shouldn't happen that often. But if you're consistently having feeding issues or failure to ignite or any of that stuff, your match is already over. And that's what I was fighting with the 2211s back in the day. I remember, 3 years ago, I went to West Coast Steel, first stage, first string, death jam. All right, no problem. Second string went okay, third string, death jam. My match was done. I ate 20 seconds on that stage. So there's no coming back from that. Absolutely no coming back. So,
yeah. The reason why I always like the Victory much, and like I said, I haven't tried everything like you have. I've shot some Ruger pistols, some 1022s, more of their some real base stuff. But when I got the Victory out the box, it ran on all the cheapest garbage I can find.
Right.
Right. It just ate up all the garbage. I was like, wow, this is amazing. But I've had some Sig Mosquitoes, and I had some other guns like that, and I couldn't get it to run no matter what I put in it.
Right.
So, but it ran on the cheapest stuff. Then I started to mod it out, started to trick it out, started to put comps on it, then it doesn't run all that stuff at all, which is interesting. But like I said, I don't know, CCI seems to be a real it's not 100%. I have one out of, a couple, I think it was, a couple bolt packs of those, but for the most part, it shoots CCI reliable, but the Thunderbolt stuff and the most bulk pack is now it's not even, I wouldn't even take that to a match because I know it's so not reliable anymore. Well,
it's funny because Thunderbolt, I have tons of it. And when I go to break in a gun, that's what I use.
Yeah.
Out here in California,
you can always get a deal on the Thunderbolt. It's like 20, everybody has it. It's
Well, the funny thing is, you know, a couple of years ago, we couldn't get ammo out here. So whatever I found, wherever I found it, I bought it. So I ended up with a bunch of the stuff. So that stuff I'm burning through, you know, on the builds. I build probably 3 of these a month, the 2211s. I just finished up 2 this week. One's going to Florida and one's going to Ohio. But, you know, it's the thing that happened to me back at the end of last year is people just started sending me stuff. You know, stocks to custom paint, pistols to build, and didn't even really contact me prior to. So I've got this big pile of stuff that I'm trying to work through. Yeah, it's crazy. And it's not my full-time job. I have the paint shop that I have to perform at every day, and the guns have taken over that. So my performance there is slacked off, and the gun thing is I'm getting more stuff done with the guns, but that's not my livelihood. So it's kind of a slippery slope. But I have fun doing it. So
maybe need to switch over and let the guns be primary.
Eventually, it'll get there. That's when I go to my deal when I retire. I started now because I wanted to build a bit of a name for myself, or at least not so much a name, but a customer base. You know, people can get a hold of me and trust me with what I'm doing and know that I'm a good guy and I'm not going to screw them.
Sure. Build your reputation in the gun community.
Yeah, exactly. So, but it accelerated so fast last year that it got out of hand, and I'm still fighting that battle. I'm still trying to get through the backlog of stuff that I had. Back in January, I told everybody that I wasn't going to take another thing in until at the earliest the end of April. So, and I'm still not through the big. So.
Yeah, so no just randomly sending your stuff over to Kurt. All right, maybe hit him. Maybe hit him with a text message. Hey, can you do this? Or
yeah, well, I've got people that we all know that have hit me up and want me to do stuff, and it's like, you can send it, but it's just going to sit. So don't do it. Let's wait till I can get to it. Then I'll have it for the shortest amount of time, and everybody will be, you know, happy. You can go shoot it now, and then when we do it, we'll do it. You know, I mean, it's unfortunate that it got busy. I mean, I appreciate it being busy, but on the other side of the coin, it's hard for one guy to get it all done, and I can't delegate that stuff to guys in the shop. It's stuff that I have to do. So, I mean, I can have somebody sand a piece of wood on, you know, on a stock, but I've got to do all the artwork and all the airbrushing and graphics and whatever we do. You guys have probably seen some of the stuff out there that we played around with and decorate.
Yeah, definitely. We're going to get into that here shortly. But compensators on a 22, it seems every time I share a picture of my victory or whatever, it was like, what do you need that comp on that 22? They don't kick at all already.
Well,
funny thing, I mean, Tandemkross put out a video that, you know, scientific kind of video where they had like slow motion and all that stuff.
Right.
So there is actually a benefit to running a comp on a 22. But your thoughts on it? And when people say that, why do you need a comp on your pistol or rifle? And how do you really get the maximum performance out of the compensator once you got it on there?
It depends on the comp that you're using. So I use 2. I use Tactical Solutions and I use an Alchin. So if I'm doing an aluminum comp, it's an Alchin. It's got 2 giant ports in it.
Right.
You see that? This is a Tactical Solutions comp. It's a steel comp. It's heavier. So that's my original question when I started getting into the comps and all that stuff was, is it more a barrel weight or is it actually moving gas? And if I've taken some videos and they move a lot of gas. So you can take this gun and take the comp off and go bang, 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 and feel how flippy it is. And you put it back on and it actually does make a difference. I've got a ton of different compensators here because I want to do a real test. I got a ransom rest and I was going to do it and I didn't get done. I had to send the ransom rest back to my buddy in Florida because I got so busy with the other stuff. I just didn't have time, but I'm going to take the time and actually test what I want to do with the compensator, so you got an aluminum one, it obviously weighs 2 or 2.5 ounces less than a steel one. So I'm going to weight the aluminum one to make it the same weight as the steel one, measure how they work, and then measure how they work at their regular weight. So see if it's more of a weight issue on the end of the barrel or an actual porting issue. So I have most of the stuff figured out how I want to do it. I just haven't had the time. So
there it is.
But they do make a difference. Absolutely make a difference.
There you go. And if you're taking the game seriously and you're shooting these major matches or just the local scene, if you can get, you know, that extra tenth, why not? You know, a lot of people pay a lot of money for a tenth of a second advantage.
Sure.
A shit ton of money.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I fell into that. I used to race cars, and it was a black hole for dollars. You just started pouring money in it. That's going to make me faster. Okay, we're going to buy that. And it's kind of that way with the guns to a certain degree, but it's got to be more visible in the results. Like I said, I tried. I mean, I can't tell you how much money I've spent on open guns over the years, because we had 2 people shooting, and this guy came out with his, and this one's better, and that's better, and you know.
Well, that's still the case today with open guns.
Right.
Everybody thinks theirs is better, but of course, I mean, how other way are you going to think, right? If you don't think your stuff's the best, then why are you kind of doing it in a sense, right? Right.
Yeah, it's crazy, but the whole compensator thing, I wouldn't go to the match without one. I'll tell you that right now, because I actually had funny story. I had a gun that it was a 2211, had a compensator that was held on with a set screw, and I'm out practicing and I'm shooting, and all of a sudden the gun goes bang, bam, what? And shot the comp off the thing. And it was an unbelievable difference in the amount of muzzle rise. And I mean, you know, we're talking a rimfire, but still, they move.
Right.
So I took video. Go ahead.
There was somebody, I've been shooting PRS, and at the PRS match, there's these tripods that people use. And there was one stage, and it was a very good shooter, and he was taking the tripod up there, and somebody said, "You don't need that tripod. Why are you using that? You don't need it." And he's like, "No, I don't need it, but it's going to make it easier to shoot it." Sure. I mean, you know, and I'll be able to do it faster, get steady faster. So, like, I feel like the comps are the same way. Like, could you shoot without it? Yeah, you can very easily, but it's a matter of if it's going to be easier and make it faster, easier to get on target and speed up with this, you know, they're not one because somebody has a draw that's 5 seconds faster than everybody else. Sure. Here and there that shaves, you know?
Yeah, no, I wouldn't, like I said, I wouldn't go to a match without one. Absolutely not.
Here we go. We're going to move here to Discount Corner here. Try to save you some money from some great companies who support us here at the Shooter's Mindset here. Jen, you usually start us off with this. What do you got?
Carbon Arms. At carbonarms.us, you can get 10% off with TSM 10 on shot shell caddies, extension tubes for your shotgun, chest rigs, all kinds of stuff, all things shotgun, ratchet belts. So check them out at carbonarms.us. And at the Shooter's Mindset store, you can get 10% off with the discount code JEN, TSM10. We have base pads and all kinds of accessories and stuff. So go check us out at shootersmindset.com.
There you go. Boom. Folks over at Tactical Shit, all right? Shop.tacticalshit.com, TSM10, save you 10% off their entire web store. Or if you're in the St. Peters, Missouri area, they have a retail spot. If you yell it at the cashier, they'll save you 10% there at the store purchase. Folks over at Dewey Rods, DeweyRods.com, TSM15 for 15% off the entire web store at DeweyRods.com, all right? If you need a good, fine rod that's going to last you a lifetime, check out Dewey Rods, all right? Folks over at TaranTacticalInnovations.com, TaranTacticalInnovations.com, all your kind of base pad needs, you need gunsmithing work, shotgun stuff, they got it all over there. TSM10, save you 10% off over there, all right? And I think lastly here, RANCLP, Mindset 16 for 15% off, RANCLP.com and your lubrication needs. Kurt, anything on the fly for you as far as discount codes from your sponsors or for yourself that you know of?
Not really. I have a lot of great companies that help me out. I, you know, but as of right now, Steel Target Paint obviously has discount codes. You can use Grimes KU10, get 10% off. If you buy larger quantities of paint, you can get a better deal from them. But that's something you would need to talk to them about depending on the volume that you buy. We're working on something for Lead Star Arms for the PCC stuff. And then, you know, just about everybody else. I mean, I try to help everybody out. When I build guns, I really don't make money on parts. I charge X amount of dollars for the labor. I try to get stuff in as economically as possible for everybody. So to get, you know, spread it around and help people out where we can. So, but I'm working on some discount codes from some of the other companies that help me out. So we're still in the infancy. I don't want to say in the infancy stages of this year's program, but there's a couple of things that are not finalized yet, and they will be pretty quick. But once that happens, then I'll share it on my Facebook page or in one of the groups that I run. So
there you go. There you go. And the giveaway here that's going on in the Rimfire race guns. This is if someone's like totally unfamiliar. If you're on Facebook, you go in the group search. If you're not part of the group, just type in Rimfire race guns, and you got to be in that group where you can find details to this giveaway here. We're doing some Tandemkross stuff with that, right?
Yes.
Hive grips.
Hive grips.
We do
giveaways all the time.
Yeah.
We just gave away a slot for the East Coast Steel Championships.
There you go.
I find stuff all the time that we end up getting, you know, like you get stuff to try or whatever you like it. You get some extra, you give it away, help spread the word, help share with everybody. You know, we've given away. I got a bunch of stuff from John Elton right now, Neely to give away. I've got some lubricants to give away. So I try to space them out, and you know, I originally started doing the giveaways about once a month, but as the volume increases of stuff that's available to share with people, I do them sooner and you know quicker actually, so we can get through everything that we have. But that group has been a really good resource for the Rimfire guys. I started it because this is a funny story. Not really a funny story, but I started it because I took a break from shooting for a while, and when I came back with a couple of my guns that were a little bit on what I consider to be the wild side. But I thought, man, these things are going to look like caveman guns because everybody's got this new fangled stuff out there. And I came out and people were looking at me kind of funny because of what I had in my holster or, you know, coming out of the range bag. And I thought, well, what's out there? So I started the group to see what everybody else was doing with their guns. And it's just kind of gone from there. It's morphed into something that's a really good resource for newbies, guys that have been around forever. If you got a question or you want to know something, you're going to get 5 or 6 different opinions usually, but you're going to get the answer, you know.
Right.
So.
Right. There you go. We got a couple here, live ones here. Jay says, evening to us all here. Good evening. Thanks for watching, sir. What else we have? Randy G says, what do you think the 3 best upgrades to do to your factory Ruger 1022 to be used for steel challenge matches?
Taxol barrel, Taxol receiver, and a Taxol stock.
There you go. And that pretty much changes the entire look of the gun. There you go. Right? Just those 3 upgrades, and it's no longer.
There you go.
Damn. That's a sweet looking thing, right? There you go. So there's your 3 upgrades. What do we have? I have here just a follow up. What was the hardest gun you can remember? The toughest gun you had to work on? It just problems after problems.
Oh man, I've struggled a little bit with PCC triggers. I've got them sorted up. They weren't really designed for the PCC in the beginning, but I fought the first 2211 that I built from scratch for myself. I made a lot of mistakes, and I learned a lot from it. And I could not get that thing to run. I could not get it to run. And I got frustrated. I walked away from it. I put it away. I went and shot a different gun. I came back and I just kept picking away at it until I got to the point where I'm at now, where I know, what clearances need to be where and all that kind of stuff. So it was a chore, and part of it was lack of experience and not thoroughly looking at the way it works. So,
right.
But
right. It's funny, the PCC, you bring up some of the PCC stuff. I mean, some of these major matches, I think Barry Steele was just this past weekend. A lot of people, with the 22s, a lot of manufacturers, they're kind of new to this. They've been out for a long time, but now with all the games coming and all the divisions, now people are trying to get as much performance out of them as they can. I mean, every time I scroll to my Facebook feed, I'm seeing some new, like, Magnum, extensions.
Looks like a tripod.
I know we can get our mind out together. A Magnum, base pad extension. My mag holds 110 rounds now.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, holy shit. And then we hear horror stories about that. Like, a Glock magazine, 33 round, might be reliable. Once you slap a 52 round base pad on it, it's no longer the same. I heard ETS mags are just not really running well, especially when you put extensions on them for PCCs. We had the trigger issues. Some guns just didn't run with standard drop-in AR-style triggers in the PCCs. You were having issues with that. Maybe some type of bump firing would go on, or some, problems like that. I've experienced that with my 22 build. And then you have everybody coming out with their own deal. So it's a kind of building a mutt. You got their lower with their handguard, with their comp, with their trigger, and you're trying to make it all work from all these different companies, and I think we're still kind of figuring out what really works.
Right. Well, that's been one of my things has always been, if I'm going to use their upper, I'm going to use their lower. I've always been that way. I had a different manufacturer, 2211, and I finally started to run. I got Taxol mags to run in that unit, and it ran perfect. Didn't have any issues with it, but I thought, you know what? If I'm shooting their mags, why not shoot their upper? So I bought one of their uppers, got it going. I broke a guide rod like 600 rounds in, and I thought, well, that's not very good. So then I called Tactical Solutions. They never talked to me before. I bought the unit from a guy online. They referred me to Colt. I got to Colt. He sent me a couple of guide rods, and I went back out to practice. This was getting ready for West Coast Steel. 359 rounds, I broke another one. And I thought, man, this sucks.
Right.
So I didn't shoot the gun. I went to West Coast Steel, and that's when I had the death jam with the other gun. So I called Colt, and he sent me 6 more guide rods, and I've never broken another one. So they had a bad run on over hardening, and they were brittle. And out of all these things that I've built, I've never had anybody call me and tell me they broke a guide rod. So, but what sold me on those guys was the customer service. They treated me like I was Max Michel, and I'm nobody. They, somebody that bought a unit from somebody on the internet. So
yeah, exactly. What are you running? You're running that Lead Star, right, for PCC right now?
Yes, I do.
Is that a Lead Star hat you got on?
Yes, I have the only ones in existence.
There you go. Bring that rifle over here. We want to take a look at that. Those things are really a thing of beauty.
So this one, I have my Mike Foley approved chamber flags. See that? Tootsie Pops.
Boom, approved.
Yes.
Nice.
So anyways, this PCC weighs 4 pounds. I have one little deal that I'm waiting on for the handguard. There's a little deal on the back that the screws go into. But this PCC weighs 4 pounds, 13 ounces, ready to rock. Dang. I don't know how much you can see that. So
yeah, you seem to be big into making things really light and colorful. I mean, is there and I remember shooting a buddy of mine. He picked up a Ruger 2245 light, and I had the Victory, and he's like, man, the Victory just feels a little bit too heavy for me.
Right.
I like a lighter gun so I can swing faster during Steel Challenge. Is that kind of your deal with making guns light? You just feel that there's an advantage there with swinging the gun?
Yeah. So my thought process is, I go through all the work to build a 2211 because it feels like the gun that I mainly shoot, which are my open guns. I actually shoot more 22 probably now than I do open class. But so the thought process with PCC carries over. I'm trying to get it down to as close as the same weight and swing the way my rimfire rifles do. So it makes it like just an extension of the rimfire class. So, but this gun, I've probably spent, I don't know, 15 hours on the mill, poking the little holes here.
So you poked more holes in it than it already had, because I know those things are all already removed.
Yeah, so I just built this exact same gun for Joel Fishkin. It weighs 5 pounds 8 ounces.
Nice, yeah.
This gun weighs 4 pounds 13 ounces.
And it's
Wow.
I did a couple things. I mean, all this stuff, it's people think, what happens if your face gets caught in the spring? I said, well, then it's going to hurt, but it looks cool.
Yeah. A good thing you don't have a beard. It might get caught in there, man.
Yeah.
I mean, the mustache is getting close, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It might. I might get some of that removed.
Yeah. There you go.
These.
You might get a wax job.
Yeah. This thing, it runs like a clock.
There you go.
So, the biggest problem I've seen with PCC is people and their ammo. You got a trigger that you get the trigger problem solved. I'm running Elftman's in this. It's got a tack-on bolt, a BSF barrel. I use obviously everything Lead Star makes is on that gun. They build a phenomenal product. And it's so cool to be able to get something that looks cool right out of the box. That's my thing. I like stuff that, I cut slots and poke holes and do all that stuff all the time just to make it look cool. Some of it's not necessarily for weight, just for make it look different. So,
yeah.
But ammo for those things is a big deal. People loading too long, you go to a match. I mean, you go practice with ammo and it runs. You don't take different ammo to the match. You run what you have. So we came up with a couple of loads that work pretty good. 124 grain or 135 grain bullet, depending on if you're shooting steel or USPSA. Same powder charge. So you got major here and your minor, your over minor there, your under minor with a 124 for steel, and the gun shoots soft. This thing, like I said, even at that weight, it's not flippy, and you can swing it like a 22.
There you go. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah. Randy G says, "What kind of lube does Kurt use on his rimfire guns to keep the grime out?"
I'm the grime. I actually use synthetic motor oil.
Really, synthetic? Oh.
Yep.
It's funny. We always have, when we have the lube guys on here, the Rand TLPs or whatever. It's like the guys that use the motor oil. You always get those guys. Yeah, it's like the worst post you can see in any group is, "What's your favorite lube?" And you get 1,000 answers. And and there's always that one guy, "I just use Mobile One. I've been using it for years." And they're just like, and no one really knows what works after you post that question, because you don't know where to go. You almost got to buy every product and make your own decision.
Right. See what works best. So I started using I have a quart of Castrol Syntec that I bought literally 20 years ago, and I'm still using it. But what got me to really stick with a synthetic motor oil, I have striping brushes for pinstriping. Yeah. And when you're done striping, you put them in oil. We were putting them in Marble Mystery Oil for years. But I started putting it in synthetic motor oil. And when I go to clean the brush out, it's almost impossible to get the stuff all the way out. So it's actually bonding too. And it kind of if it's doing that on this, it's probably going to stick to the metal a lot better. So I've tried some of the new stuff out there, and there's a product that they sent me some stuff to try, and it eats paint. So,
yeah, that's not going to work
for me.
No, especially for you.
Yeah,
because all your guns are going to be painted.
They're either painted or anodized or Cerakote. It doesn't affect Cerakote, and it doesn't affect anodizing, but it does eat paint, and a lot of my stuff gets painted. So like all the stocks that you see, those are all automotive paint. So I treat it just like I treat a Harley or a hot rod.
There you go. So basic synthetic. Can we see the green one? So Steph wants to see. I don't know. He has a green gun, a green rifle. Which I don't know what. There it is. There it is. Sweet deal. And that's just automotive paint.
Yep, it's automotive finish.
There you go.
So
Interesting.
Seymour's painted, grips painted.
I mean, how does that stuff hold up versus like a Cerakote? Is there a real big difference there?
So this is going to be kind of a shocker to some people. So I can take this gun. I could probably pull the slide off, drop it on the ground with Cerakote, and it's not going to chip it. In and out of a holster 100 times, and you're going to start to see a little wear with Cerakote. I was really surprised because, so like this, the upper on this, all the silver that's not polished is all Cerakote. I was amazed at how easily Cerakote sands off with just sandpaper. Because when I do the sides, I'll surface it, face it, then I'll go ahead and Cerakote over it and then redo it. Well, you have to sand it again to get rid of the Cerakote to get it shiny on the sides. And I was surprised at how easily it sands off. So that being said, automotive paint probably chips a little easier. This gun's got, I don't know how many thousands of rounds through it, but it's not beat up. And I got a chip where we took this gun to SHOT Show.
There's paint for cars that color?
Oh, I custom mix everything.
That's really bright. That's so cool. I have a friend that would love a green car.
Right. So I had to take the firing pin out of this gun to go to SHOT Show, and I hit the slide right there, or the top of the slide with a punch, but I just put a little mark in it. So it's pretty durable stuff. I've got orange rifle, orange gun, which aren't in here right now. The orange rifle's got 3 years on it, and it's not beat up at all. I mean, and when I get one of these, that's just like I drove race cars, like I said before. When you get behind the wheel, it's a tool. And if I got to punch a barricade with a barrel, I'm going to punch a barricade. I don't care. You know what I mean? If I got to punch a door open or something, dump it in a barrel. That's part of this. It's part of the game. That's what we do. And if something happens to the gun where it gets a scuff or a scratch, then if I don't like it, I'll fix it. But the stuff is actually way more durable than you think it would be.
I love the finish on it. You know, Cerakote's kind of more of a matte. I love that gloss is pretty on those.
Yeah, so like the green stock, that's all automotive on wood. This one here. So, but I wanted something to go with the green receiver and barrel. So I even did the trigger green. That's
sweet. Yeah.
Those are STI trigger groups that I shoot, which are made from unobtainium. They used to make them back in the early 2000s. And I found a guy that had 6 of them. I had one that they gave me to try. It's a 3-ounce take-up and a 10-ounce break. That's my primary rifle trigger pull. So I found the other ones and bought them up. I wish they'd still make them.
Yeah, there you go. Thoughts? Your thoughts on all the new kind of rimfire leagues that are popping up? There's a lot. NRL has their kind of long-range rimfire series. There's a lot of bolt action kind of rimfire things kind of taking off. Ruger's coming out with theirs. Corson came out with their Summit rifle, etc. What are your thoughts on this, and what do you think it's going to do for the game?
Oh, I think it's going to help everybody. Anytime you can get involved in more disciplines, it's going to make you better at everything you do. You know, I got friends that shoot Bianchi Cup, and they're way more accurate than I'll ever be shooting steel. So it's just like shooting steel makes you better at USPSA qualifiers or the classifiers, because you're out of the holster, your target acquisition times are faster, your splits are faster, all that stuff. So anytime you can get out there and you know, whether it's long distance, bolt action, you know, I'd love to get out and shoot some stuff really far away with a rimfire. You know, there's guys that shoot 300 yards, 400 yards. My son actually is really interested in the long range stuff with a rimfire. So I think it's going to bring more people to the game. Well, a lot of people come out to a match, to a steel match or a rimfire challenge match, and they see all these fancy guns, and it's a little intimidating. They got a bolt action gun at home with a scope on it or something that they've had for a while. They can go out and play with it and tinker and wow, this is a good time, and I can actually compete with these guys. They're not out buying new equipment, and they've got stuff that's already existing, and any type of that stuff I think is good. Anything that brings people into the sport, gets them exposed to it. I have a family member that was talking to me probably a couple of years ago about how evil the AK-47 and the AR-15 were, and I said, well, what makes it evil? Well, look at all the things that are being done with it. And about 2 months ago, we were at a family function, and they want guns. They asked me what kind of pistol to buy. They want to start target practicing and all that stuff. So why the change of heart, I don't know. But the more people we get into activities with firearms, the more people that are going to be to support what we do, and not, go the opposite direction. And it's all the gun's fault. It's not the gun's fault. Because I can tell you right now, neither one of those guns are going to shoot me unless somebody grabs it and does it. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. So, yeah, all that stuff. I think anything that brings people into, the game or the sport or whatever you want to call it, it's a good thing. Absolutely a good thing. Bad thing is
we got some live. We got some live ones we wanted to hit here on Jen's side. What do you got?
So both questions about the PCC. So Vinny wants to know if you're running a 5.56 or a 308 buffer spring in the Lead Star.
Extra power 223.
There you go, extra power.
With a blitzkrieg buffer and a wave spring and a spacer, 1/4-inch spacer. So you got wave spring, 1/4-inch spacer, extra power 223, and a blitzkrieg buffer.
There you go.
Sweet. And then the other one was the one that the PCC you were holding up, wanted to know how the last round bolt holds open. How does it work on that PCC?
Works great if the gun is not short stroked. So this gun, we have them set up to limit bolt travel. That's as far as the bolt comes back. Can you see that?
Gotcha.
So if you take the wave washer or the wave spring out, the spacer, run the spring full length, and then the buffer, it gives the buffer extra travel so you can bolt all the way back and actually use the bolt hold open. I personally will never have a gun that locks open. I just don't do it. I count my rounds. If I'm getting close, you're on the move, make a reload. If you're counting that close, I just don't do it. But Lead Star's got a really, really cool last round bolt hold open feature that works really well. So, because I tested it before I short stroked the gun. I don't have any of those parts in there because I'm trying to save every 1/10 of an ounce that I can. So I don't even have a bolt catch on it. So it's set up for it, but it's not there. So when I build light stuff, I don't put anything on the gun that doesn't need to be there. So.
You mean you don't have like the AR with like 4 flashlights and red dot and offset iron sights and a foregrip and?
No, absolutely not. Roll of toilet paper on hanging off the back. No.
Yeah.
This is an aluminum handguard, and it comes pretty light from them. It's under 8 ounces. I got it down to 7.5 ounces by thinning it out, poking a couple extra holes in it. And it's very comfortable. So it's crazy how much time goes into stuff like that. When I did the finish on the gun, it's actually got a finish on it. It's not just bare aluminum. We ceramic blasted it to give it a texture, and then I went through and removed the ceramic blasting texture on all the high spots and all the surfaces. I looked like the Tin Man from the Wizard of Oz. I spent a whole day sanding aluminum. The side effect of that was it took some weight off, which was kind of cool.
Yeah, there you go. What is it? Randy G wanted to put in here. What's your favorite flavor Tootsie Roll Pops?
Oh, I like raspberry. I like grape. You can see the Tootsie Pop dude behind me. And one of my buddies, I get these random packages in the mail at the shop or box from Amazon, and they're full of Tootsie Pops. So we got them all over the place. But I like the raspberry. I think there's that and the cherry.
Yeah. Do you accept Tootsie Pops for work? Like if you wanted to work on my 2011 or whatever?
I think some of my friends think I do because I got boxes of them.
So do you like when you send the gun back, do you put a Tootsie Pop in it?
Back in, yeah.
I don't, because
that should be your signature. So whenever you retire and you make this be your business, you should make that be your signature where every gun back gets a Tootsie Pop with it.
The funny thing is, this started because John Alchin, buddy of mine, he puts Tootsie Pops in all his, when you order parts, scope mounts, whatever, bunch of Tootsie Pops. Well, I got some scope mounts or something, or compensators or whatever from one day, and I had 2 Tootsie Pops, and I took a picture of them. I go, look, guess I got parts from John today. I scarfed them down, and then my wife says, where's mine? And I took a picture of the empty sticks.
Oh,
yeah, that was kind of cool. But then after that, everybody started. Next thing you know, I helped a guy down in the LA area, had a broken off screw in his buck mark. He couldn't get it out, and he was making a mess. So we brought it up, stuck it in the mill, and got it cleaned up for him. And when he sent the parts up for me to do the work on, he put 2 big old bags of Tootsie Pops in there. So then it's just kind of turned into one of those things. So
right on.
I don't mind. I like them. They're fun. And then one of my buddies sent me this giant Tootsie Pop. So what I'm going to do with that is anytime we have local matches or any big matches in the area that I'm driving to, I'm going to take that and have everybody sign it. So it'd be kind of neat to have a bunch of signatures on it.
Oh, that's a cool idea. Yeah.
So
there we go. Any upcoming events, goals, or kind of matches you have coming up here?
Well, we're shooting the Worlds in Talladega. I just found out about the California State match, which is a week later, State Steel Championship. On East Coast Steel, I shoot a couple matches a month locally. I just want to keep where I'm at or get a little better. And my thing, I try to do a really good job for my sponsors. And it's not, sponsorship thing's kind of, there's a lot of people that just want stuff for free. They don't care what it is. Or my thing, I end up with sponsorship because I find something that I like. I start using it. I'll talk about it. It's not like I went out to Tactical Solutions and said, hey, you guys are going to sponsor me? No. I got their product. I started using it. I liked it. I liked the customer service. So it turned into, I've got a great relationship with those guys now, but it turned into that because of the way they treated me. Same with Lead Star. Derek's an awesome dude. All those guys there. It's a small company, but it makes me feel good when I can recommend somebody somewhere. These guys can sell some product and people get the product and they're happy and they love it. That makes me feel like, I'm doing my part. I shot Ely for a couple of years before they decided that they had to really actually sponsor me. And I promoted the product because I liked the way it worked. It runs great for me. I haven't had any trouble with it. Everybody I've turned on to it has loved it. So they're helping me out this year. I mean, big time. So it's been it's enjoyable to me to feel like I'm making a difference. I guess it sounds kind of corny, but it's not just about getting free stuff. I like to give. My deal is I try to give more than I receive, so I don't feel like I'm taking advantage of people. So there's a lot of people that
try to do it the opposite way.
Yeah, yeah. I have people try to give me stuff all the time, and if it's not something that I'm I'm very loyal. Like I'm loyal to Taxol. I'll die Taxol. I'll die Leadstar. But I've had offers where more lucrative than what's going on any place anywhere with what I'm doing, and I just it's not me. These guys have been good to me. Everybody that I'm with, I'll stay with for a lifetime. So it's just one of those deals that when you find something that works, it's like my ammo or my load. You know, I got a load that works. I'm going to keep shooting it. I'm not going to sit there and change powder and change bullets and use the same bullet, same the same powder charge, everything, because I know it runs. So
yeah. I mean, there was a point where, I mean, with the company that I was supporting for years, and then maybe the community, I don't know, something happened, and then I got another offer, and I'm like, well, I'm trying to think of how can I, after years of saying, try this is how it works, check this out, and then all of a sudden, hey, try Mobile One because it's awesome, or check out this ammo, like, I don't know. I feel like there's some credibility lost. Like, who are you just jumping in Nike and Reebok just because they're offering you the best deal, or like how is Nike now when you were preaching Reebok for years? Yeah, so it's kind of like, how do you make that transition? Some people can do it out there. Some people have done it, and they've done it, successfully. They've done it well. I just don't know how. I guess I've never done it before. I never, I don't know how that would work.
Well, my thing is I have to believe in what I'm using, and I'll do all the research, and I'll put in the time and the energy and the effort. The cool thing about it is I can get custom serial numbers on my guns. All my guns say Grimy 1, Grimy 2. So, which I like, it's just something that's kind of a cool perk to have. And then, I can call just about anybody, and if they're not in a meeting, they'll talk to me. If I got all kinds of crazy ideas and stupid things that I think about. Hey, what about this? And they'll entertain me and talk to me, and sometimes something becomes of it, sometimes it doesn't. But the industry is there's so many good people in the industry. I mean, I've got lifelong friendships that I've made. I've met people through shooting, just plain and simple. I never would have met them, except, you go to a match, you meet somebody, you start talking to them, you start hanging out. Next thing you know, you're calling them, you talk to them on the phone, and get to the big matches. Like, oh, where's so and so? You got a squad with everybody, and you get everybody back together every time, and keep up with them. How you doing in school? I got some of the young shooters, good friends. It's a really good community to be in, I think, personally.
Yeah, definitely agreed.
Obviously you do too, because I mean, I got to put my hat on backwards. People don't recognize me with it on frontwards.
Right on. Yeah, I think I think I shook your hand at Chacha, but I really didn't know. I mean, I knew of you through Facebooks and being in those rimfire groups, but honestly didn't know much about you, what you really did. I just kind of piece stuff together, seeing your post. So that's why when I asked you to come on here, I'm like, hey man, I didn't know if you really did some of these things that I was just seeing. I just pieced it all together. I said, well, he must paint stuff, anodize stuff. He obviously worked on some 2011 guns, but I didn't know if you actually really did that, or is this just kind of a tinkering thing like so, and that's how it kind of came about. Like, let's get Kurt on here just one day, it's just kind of went off. Let's get him on.
Well, it's funny because, like, I've had guns in Tactical Solutions booth, Full Courts, and JP rifles. I mean, I've done stuff for a lot of people, Powder River, and I do it because it's kind of a crossover thing, because I do a lot of I'm an airbrush artist. I do all the fancy, custom paint stuff, and it crosses over into the gun stuff just because I like to do it, and I thought there'd be a lot more of it out there, but people see it and they tend to go a little crazy over it. So I just did some stuff for Steve Foster. I did the stuff for Powder River. I got some stuff going for Thomas Nalen right now. I got Brian Cruisers. I got stuff for him at the shop. I got, you know, a whole bunch of other stuff. I got Jim O'Young's stuff there. His soon-to-be wife, I think. He's probably going to kill me for saying that. I do a lot of so the Clovis Police Department, where my shop's at, they're giving away Ruger 223 now, rifles. So we're custom painting stocks on everyone. Put their badge, logo of their badge number. The Police Officers Association is doing an Americana theme on them. So we're doing all that stuff. Just the list goes on. But it's to me, it's fun. I get a kick out of it. Like somebody leaked to me, Stephen B. Cole, Foster had a nickname. Well, Foster didn't know I knew his nickname, but it's on both his rifles now. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. So I'll probably get a text from him in a little bit saying, "What are you talking about?" But stuff like that. I mean, it's like Mark Itzstein. His nickname's Big Sexy, so I did a rifle for him. It's his Sportsman's Team Challenge rifle. It's got Big Sexy right on the front of it. So
there you go. Man, that's the first thing you lifted up that's not painted, man. What's up with that Yeti cup not being painted?
Oh, I've got some that are, but it gets tossed in the cup holder in the Tahoe every morning, so it'll get wore out. So I'll do something though. I got it's all about time. It's like that Lead Star took me like 5 months to build because I don't have time. I can't very well be cranking out my own guns and everybody else stuff sitting. So
yeah.
I got to get it to you like everybody else. So
exactly. All right. I mean, I think if we have any live on your end, Jen, are we good there?
Vinny just messaged me and said that this is one of our best shows yet, and he wanted to thank Kurt and Anthony and me. So
right on. That's good to hear.
Appreciate it. Mm-hmm.
Hey, Vinny, good job, man. Thanks for watching. I think we got him some Rise triggers over on the. He's kind of supports the shooter's mindset. We appreciate him, and it's good to hear that stuff every now and then.
Oh yeah.
I think we're gonna wrap this one up here on a good note here from Vinny's comment. Go wind this one down to shout outs. Jen, we'll start off with you. What do you have?
Prime Ammo. I'm going next weekend or this weekend. I don't even know what day it is. Leaving Friday morning for another match. Shooting my Prime Ammo at a PRS bolt gun match. Also Night Force Optics. Lansing Tactical. I got to go shoot my AR this weekend, and it felt very funny because my bolt gun's so heavy, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is like, wow, I can like stand up and shoot. Like, I forgot I could do that. It was really, really fun. So that was awesome. Thanking Kestrel again. I think they'll be coming up sometime soon, maybe on the show, but thank you to Kestrel for supporting Team Prime. Grizzly Targets, Sharpshooters of Augusta and Shooters of Augusta, Under Industries for your jersey needs, Carbon Arms, and Patriot Cases. I have my new Patriot case. I'm so excited.
Those things are top end.
I love it. Got to give them a shout out because I'm so excited about it. And I have wheels now to drag my bolt gun instead of having to manhandle it into the hotel after I shoot all day.
Yeah, funny story.
Rough. Getting on a plane with all them guns.
Oh yeah. Yeah, funny story is, I mean, we've done, like, we had Lead Star on the show. We had Derek and those boys before the website was even up. Yeah. We had them on the show. We've had Brack over at Patriot Cases. It's funny because when we were talking, he was like, dude, he's like, how long's your show? I was like, usually about an hour and a half. He's like, how are we going to talk about gun cases for an hour? We ended up almost talking to him for like 2 hours on the show, all right, about gun cases. So, but his stuff, I mean, you might look at that and say, well, that kind of looks like a Pelican case or some of the other brands. And there are some good companies out there that make, but really the foam that he uses and the cutout, he can cut out, I mean, some unique gun patterns. And your gun just drops right in there, fits like a glove. Yeah,
so I got to do something with that because I take typically, like, I'll take 6 guns to Alabama. I'll take 3 or 4 pistols and at least 2 rifles, probably 3 rifles. I try to take a backup for a backup for a backup for a backup. So there's a weight limit. Otherwise, I'd have more stuff in there. But I talked to somebody about water jetting a cutout for me, but I haven't got around to it. But I got to get in touch with somebody to do that because I've finalized the guns that I'm shooting now. So before I played around with a JRC back in the day for a PCC. Got it to run great, but there were a couple things about it that just didn't feel right to me. So I didn't want to get good with that. So I got the Lead Star. So
yeah, they're not the best looking gun I find in the world. I know you like some fancy things, Kurt, and that. Yeah, they're not. To me, they come off ugly, but performance matters over looks, obviously.
Sure.
But to me, they're just ugly guns, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, I got it. I got it down to just over 5 pounds from 8 pounds with the mill.
Yeah.
So I poked holes and I put all the carbon fiber. I had smoke composites, handguard, and buttstock, and it was cut up almost as much as a Lead Star. And it ran. Like I said, I shot it. I shot one match. I said, I can't shoot this thing.
Yeah, yeah. So,
what
shout outs do you have on your end, man, Kurt?
Oh, obviously Tactical Solutions, Lead Star, Ely, HD Hunter's Gold. His shooting glasses are awesome. But I just got a new prescription and I sent in a set of my regular frames. He did these lenses. And I don't know I normally go to one of the eyeglass places where you get 2 pair for, $100. And I said, well, I'm going to step up for good lenses this time. This guy did a job on these. I'm still looking at stuff going, wow, I never saw that before. That looks like crap, So Brian at HD Hunter Gold, Ely, of course, they take really good care of me. It's awesome to be a part of that team. Then you got Larry Joe at Steel Target Paint, BSF barrels, Elfman Tactical for the triggers. If you want a light PCC, the barrel in that gun weighs 15 ounces.
Wow.
So, yeah. My barrel, comp, and barrel nut combined are 17 ounces on that build. So,
I think my barrel on my PRS rifle weighs more than your whole rifle.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably. So, and then Katanica, they hooked me up with all the range gear, clothing, and whatnot. I started buying their stuff back in the day when they were on Mythbusters because I liked the way it looked, and the stuff doesn't wear out. So it's all I wear other than my grubby old work clothes, looking like a homeless guy at work.
There we go. Shout outs on my end here. For those watching on the YouTube side of things, right below the video, you see a subscribe button. Hit that. Every Tuesday at 9, we're doing a new episode of the Shooter's Mindset featuring a great guest. And if you subscribe, you can kind of get all the updates on that stuff. Folks over at Tactical Shit, shop.tactical shit, check them out. Next time you're thinking about shopping around for gun parts, accessories, stuff like that. Folks over at Tandemkross for your rimfire kind of parts and all your rimfire needs. If you got one of them old 1022s that just need a part replaced, they probably have it over there at Tandemkross. If you want to email me, theshootersmindset@gmail.com is a good way to get a hold of me there. Definitely thanks to Kurt for spending the time here for episode 216. Appreciate that.
The blast.
And lastly here, the folks over at Rand COP, Taran Tactical Innovations. I think that'll do it for episode 216 of the Shooter's Mindset. Thank you guys for watching tonight, and we're out of here.